Tonight on NewsWatch, the future of the Catholic Church will soon be decided. CBN News is in Rome, where cardinals are meeting to elect the next pope. Plus, Republicans unveil their plan for the fiscal future of the country. We'll look at how they propose balancing the budget. And the nation's divorce rate keeps going up. So why has it dropped by 70% in one Kansas town? All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. Good evening, I'm Lori Johnson. Black smoke rising from the Sistine Chapel chimney signaled the first vote of the conclave ended without a successor to Pope Benedict. Chris Mitchell was in the square when the result was seen by the world.
Here in St. Peter's Square, thousands gathered in the rain and cold to watch the smoke come out of the chimney on the Sistine Chapel roof. Would it be white or would it be black? Millions more watched on television. Well, tonight it was black, which means the Cardinals come back tomorrow to vote for the next pope once again. Their day ended in the Sistine Chapel, but began in St. Peter's. The day began with Mass for the Cardinals. Before the conclave, some Cardinals sent out messages on Twitter, including Cardinal Peter Turkson, who tweeted, "Heavenly Father, guide our hearts and grant us wisdom and strength."
In the Sistine Chapel, it's total silence. There's no discussion, no debate, no arguments, no campaign speeches. They simply vote. And if one of the cardinals gets a 2/3 vote, then he becomes pope. But if they don't, well, then tomorrow they'll have 2 votes in the morning, 2 votes in the afternoon, until someone gets a 2/3 vote.
Many Catholics that we talk to here in Rome are not concerned with just about who the next pope will be, but what kind of leader the Church needs at this critical hour in its history.
We expect a good leader in this age where there's a crisis about faith.
I think they've probably lost a bit of vision in the future, so perhaps this one needs to just give us the right direction.
I think the election of a new pope is, in a way, a reflection of the direction the Church is going to go in and what the cardinals are thinking.
What we need is someone who can preach the gospel in a way that is understandable and attractive to people in the 21st century, especially to young people who are turned off by religion.
The papal conclave is attracting worldwide attention. More than 5,000 accredited journalists have come to Rome to cover the story. Their reports will reach nearly every place on the globe. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Vatican City, Rome.
Joining us now is Thomas Peters with CatholicVote.org. Thanks for joining us, Thomas.
Good to be with you.
Well, there's been a lot of speculation on how long the conclave might take. I mean, this thing could go on for days. What are your thoughts?
Well, I've been covering Vatican news for over half a decade, and every time there's a conclave, I realize I have so much more to learn as well. And so I tend to say, you know, as a private vote, maybe 3 to 4 days we're looking at with this conclave. But anyone who tells you they know for sure is puffing smoke.
Any thoughts about which cardinals will be the front runners?
You know, a few years ago, I thought I was doing some pretty good personal handicapping, looking at the reports and things like that. I honestly have no idea, but I do know that whoever will be chosen as Pope will be a worthy successor to Pope Benedict, and it's an incredibly exciting time for us.
Well, I love your humility, I have to say. I like it that you say, hey, there are some things I don't know. Talk a little bit about the traditions of the conclave. Why is it so important for the Church to maintain those?
Well, I think it's a sign of, it gives stability and assurance in times of transition, which can be rather scary times. We're without a pope right now. Catholics who went to Mass last Sunday didn't pray for any pope, and normally that's one of the things we do every Sunday. So there's a marked difference. And so seeing that the traditions are alive and well, the smoke, the bells, all these things I think give surety and remind us that God has a plan, and that, you know, it's up to us to have trust in that plan and wait for it to come to fulfillment.
Well, now you keep a close eye on Catholic voting trends. What kind of a pope do you think that the politically active American Catholics are hoping will be elected?
Well, I think certainly we saw in Pope Benedict's 8 years a staunch support for the Church's teaching in support of the right to life, traditional marriage, and religious liberty. And so I have no doubts that the next Pope will also carry on that banner. And we need that right now. We've seen unparalleled attacks on unborn human life, on the institution of marriage, and we've seen our religious freedom threatened in a way that we've never seen it threatened before in our country's history. And so I'm sure that we're waiting for a Pope who supports us in that, who gives us his prayers, and who also appoints bishops who carry on that task. So there's a lot of work ahead for us, but this is a time to spend in prayer and waiting for the marching orders, so to speak.
All right. Thomas Peters, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
In other news, a Senate panel approved a bill today expanding background checks for all gun buyers. The measure was supported by Democrats and opposed by every Republican. Senator Chuck Schumer is the sponsor of the bill. He says the measure will reduce gun crimes. He also says he hopes he can strike a compromise on the measure with Republicans, which will help its chances of passing in the full Senate. An all-out budget battle is brewing on Capitol Hill. House Republicans today released their blueprint to balance the budget in 10 years. Democrats unveil theirs tomorrow, setting the stage for a prolonged fiscal fight. Congressional correspondent John Jessup joins us now on Capitol Hill. John, lawmakers on both sides say budgets are not just about numbers, but priorities.
That's right, Lori. Republicans and Democrats both say that they're about priorities and they offer competing visions for the country. And this is the latest vision for congressional Republicans, or at least House Republicans. This is the fiscal year 2014 budget released just today. It focuses on cutting spending and balancing the budget within 10 years. But Democrats say any budget that passes Congress needs to be balanced by not only cutting spending, but raising revenues or taxes. This week's budget theme on Capitol Hill could easily be "Show me the money." For Republicans, though, they're more interested in "Show me the savings." House Republicans rolled out their 2014 budget, which erases $4.6 trillion and balances the budget by 2023.
We believe that we owe the American people a balanced budget. We can't just keep spending money we don't have.
The Ryan budget relies on several working assumptions. That Congress will overhaul the tax code with only 2 tax brackets, 25% and 10%, and a corporate tax rate of 25%. It would also wind down mortgage brokers Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and include welfare reform and significant changes to Medicare, which Democrats say would hurt seniors. It would also rewage a failed battle repealing the president's health care law.
We don't think we can afford to borrow $1.8 trillion in extra spending this law entails. We think we can replace it with a better healthcare system.
Democrats call the budget a hoax, claiming the Republican plan includes savings from Obamacare that cannot be achieved if it's repealed. The White House says Ryan's math just doesn't add up.
In order to lower the rates the way that he proposes, there is no way to do that in a revenue-neutral way without raising taxes substantially on middle-class families.
In the heat of the looming budget battle, President Obama met with Senate Democrats one day before they released their first budget in nearly 4 years. Democrats say their approach is balanced and includes raising taxes on the wealthy, an idea that is dead on arrival in the GOP-controlled House. And this new budget faces its first important test vote in the House Budget Committee tomorrow. Lori?
John, Democrats used the Ryan budget to argue against Republican policies in the November elections, and it seemed to work pretty well. I mean, the GOP lost the White House and seats in the House and Senate. So why are Republicans choosing to rehash the same argument?
Good question. You know, Congressman Ryan answered that question today during the press conference, and he said probably no one else understands that loss more than him, being a part of the Romney-Ryan ticket. But he said, does that loss really translate into surrendering principles and surrendering what Republicans believe in? And his answer, of course, is no. But I can tell you this, Democrats are already saying that the Ryan budget, or this new iteration of the Ryan budget, is the gift that keeps on giving. They argued against these policies in 2012, and I was part of a press call yesterday, a conference call, in which they say that they're going to continue to make the case against some of these widely, or what they describe as widely unpopular policies, like cutting educational spending and changes to Medicare that just did not win over in places where Republicans were even favored, like Montana or North Dakota. So we'll see how it works this time around.
All right, John, great to see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori.
Restaurant goers won't be seeing calorie counts on menus anytime soon. The Food and Drug Administration says it's working on a new menu labeling law, but it's gotten, quote, extremely thorny when it comes to figuring out who should actually be covered by the law. The 2010 healthcare law tasked the FDA with requiring calorie counts from restaurants and vending machines. Some non-restaurant establishments are lobbying hard to be exempt. The FDA says the rules may come out this spring. New York City's ban on large sugary drinks will not begin today as scheduled. A state Supreme Court judge struck down the measure, calling it arbitrary and capricious. Restaurant owners in the Big Apple claim victory, but the mayor says it's just the start of his fight against obesity, and he plans to appeal. Ephraim Graham has the story.
In the end, the courts will recognize the Board of Health's authority to regulate the sale of beverages that have virtually no nutritional value and which, consumed in large quantities, are leading to disease and death for thousands of people every year.
Mayor Michael Bloomberg says the city will appeal the state Supreme Court's decision to strike down his ban on big sugary drinks.
There are many, many instances where a lower court decision has gone against us and then been reversed.
The ban would have prohibited some New York City businesses from selling more than 16 ounces of soda and other high-calorie drinks. But the judge noted the ban only applied to some establishments and excluded some beverages with significantly higher concentrations of sugar, and those loopholes defeat the purpose of the rule.
Yes, a reason to celebrate.
The last-minute ruling is a relief to thousands of small business owners in New York City who were scrambling to comply with the law. They say the ban was hurting their bottom line.
It costs us, of course, extra glassware. Of course, it costs us extra labor. We had to sit down and think. We had to reprint menus.
For now, those supersized drinks are still available in the Big Apple for anyone who wants them. And many New Yorkers say that's the way it should stay.
I think they did go too far because people should be allowed to drink and eat what they want to drink.
Asking the government to protect us from large Cokes, I think, goes beyond what the government should do.
The education needs to get out there about what soda does to you. I think that's more important than taking people's rights away.
Ephraim Graham, CBN News.
Coming up, meet the American cardinal some say could actually be the next pope.
The game show of biblical proportions is back with more action, more fun, more stars, Kirk Franklin, Mary, and more nuns.
The nuns just whooped you, man.
The American Bible Challenge Season 2 premieres Thursday, March 21st at 9/8 Central, only on GSN. Visit GSNTV.com to find GSN in your area.
When you're driving along and your cell phone rings, do your eyes instantly go off the road? Then you need to get a grip. Hi, David Jones here with the new GripGo, the most versatile hands-free mount that will instantly grip any phone for safe driving. Just attach the suction cup to your windshield or dash, and GripGo grabs your phone ultra fast. That it peels right off. And don't worry, there's no sticky residue left behind. The 360-degree pivoting mount allows you to always get the perfect viewing angle. It's even strong enough to grab and hold this expensive smartphone out the window. Yet it comes right off with ease. That's the advantage of GripGo. You can get the amazing GripGo with dashboard mount for only $14.95. We'll send you a second kit free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Get 2 complete GripGo systems for just $14.95.
To order GripGo for $14.95 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-709-5259 or order online at getgripgo.com.
The game show of biblical proportions is back with more action, more fun, more stars, Kirk Franklin, Mary, and more nuns.
The nuns just whooped you, man.
The American Bible Challenge Season 2 premieres Thursday, March 21st at 9/8 Central, only on GSN. Visit GSNTV.com to find GSN in your area.
The Colorado legislature approved today a measure allowing civil unions for gay couples. 2 Republicans broke from party lines to pass the bill. It will now head to the governor's desk, and the measure is expected to be quickly signed into law. This is said to be a big political shift in Colorado because just 7 years ago, voters there approved a measure banning gay marriage. As cardinals gather in Rome to elect the next pope, Catholics here in America are split in the direction they want the next leader to take the church. According to a Pew study, 51% want the new pope to maintain the traditional positions of the Catholic Church, but 46% say it's time to move in a new direction. For example, 58% say they think it would be a good idea to allow priests to marry, and just over half support same-sex marriage. And while there has never been an American pope, a few cardinals from the states are being mentioned in the list of contenders. Some say Cardinal Timothy Dolan is a long shot, but others say the enthusiastic Archbishop of New York could have a real chance. Mark Martin reports.
We're like a Derek Jeter. Get that. Get it. All right, is that enough? That's good. More. I'm happy to.
Cardinal Timothy Dolan is considered the rock star cardinal, a man known for his down-to-earth, friendly personality who's not afraid to joke with journalists.
Is there a chance that, you know, as you think about it now, I mean...
Is that why you're kneeling? No, that's not. That would be highly improbable, and I don't think. I hope I'm not being naive, but I don't think there'd be many cardinals that would think about that chance. That's just way too out of the realm of probability.
Even though a leading candidate to replace Pope Benedict still hasn't surfaced, an Italian newspaper calls Dolan, quote, the shadow candidate, saying the Americans support him, along with other cardinals who are looking for someone who is not a Vatican insider and is energetic and charismatic.
There's a great crowd here. Let's do 2 collections. We do it in New York. So.
However, Cardinal Dolan is known for more than humor. He's a rock-solid conservative.
The threats to marriage, family, to the unborn baby.
At the Democratic National Convention in November, he boldly prayed this prayer in the midst of an audience who mostly disagrees with him on social issues.
Thus do we praise you for the gift of life. Grant us the courage to defend it, life without which no other rights are secure. We ask your benediction on those waiting to be born, that they may be welcomed and protected.
No matter the age, Dolan is pro-life.
For the elders and for the sick, because it gives me a chance to let you know how much I love you.
Other qualities that could be in his favor as a candidate for Pope. One Catholic leader says Dolan is very much in favor of evangelization and a great spokesperson for the church. Mark Martin, CBN News.
Up next, we'll look at some proven methods that help make marriage work.
Listen up for an amazing offer that can change the way you hear.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Can you repeat that?
Frustrated with your hearing?
What did he say?
Well, hear better now. Introducing the fully rechargeable MSA 30X, a revolutionary device that features the latest microsound amplification technology that can barely be seen. Independently tested to help you hear up to 30 times better. It turns ordinary hearing into extraordinary hearing. MSA 30X works by capturing and amplifying sound waves, yet its lightweight ergoacoustic design is discreet. It form-fits in and around either ear.
I forget I'm even wearing it.
And MSA 30X is powerful. Hear clearly in restaurants. Never miss another word on TV or at the movies.
My wife complains that I have the volume up on the TV too loud.
And I didn't want to be in the same room with them.
Now I can hear everything clearly.
Simply adjust the volume as you desire. Other units use so many batteries and they're difficult to change. But the MSA 30X is completely rechargeable. Simply plug it into the wall.
I tried other devices that had batteries, but they were always such a pain to change and so costly. But this is rechargeable, so I figure I save hundreds a year.
Bulky sound amplifiers can cost hundreds, but try MSA 30X for just $59.95 and we'll include a cleaning brush and 5 comfort tips. But wait, right. In this special TV offer, we'll cut the price in half. Now you can hear up to 30 times better for just $29.95. But there's even more. We'll double the offer free. Just pay additional processing and handling. Wear them both or give one to a loved one. Did you hear that? That's 2 MSA 30Xs for just $29.95. The MSA 30X Hear Better Now offer. Get 2 for just $29.95.
All I can say is just try it. It could change your life.
To order the MSA 30X sound amplifier, call 1-800-535-0654. That's 1-800-535-0654. Or you can go to MSA30X.com. Call or go online now.
It's no secret that marriage in America is in trouble. So 2 Christian leaders in Kansas decided to find ways to help couples stay together and build stronger families. And as Paul Strand explains in tonight's Focus Report, they succeeded.
Many Americans seem to just accept the nation's 50% divorce rate. However, there are proven methods to make marriages last, and whole communities can take advantage.
Like most places, the divorce rate in Kansas City, Missouri has been going up. But right across the state line here in Kansas City, Kansas, it's been going down. What's made the difference?
In 1996, suburban pastor Jeff Myers teamed up with urban pastor Leroy Sullivan to fight for marriage.
If it fails, it's the pebble in the pond, the waves that reverberate out go on for generations. And I thought, where's the church? This is our issue. This is the thing we should be dealing with.
And we're so busy talking about let's go to heaven, we never teach people how to live on earth.
Myers and Sullivan spent months recruiting dozens of other pastors in the Kansas City, Kansas area to sign a community marriage policy, a pledge to fight hard to make marriages last. And over the next 10 years, the town saw an amazing 70% plunge in the divorce rate, from 650 in 1995 to just 196 in 2005. One method focused on recruiting and training couples with long-lasting marriages to become mentors, working especially with those about to marry. The DeFrieses have mentored for 14 years.
You're using your years of experience, coupled with some training and listening skills and communication skills.
The Llewellyns have mentored a dozen young couples.
How well do you know each other, and are you really meant to be together? Just because you love each other, it doesn't mean you're called to be life-term partners.
These marriage coaches help couples who want to wed take a premarital inventory, which can predict with 80% accuracy which couples will likely divorce.
We've had, I know, 2 decide not to marry.
And mentors help young couples seriously consider areas of potential trouble.
The preparation process lots of times brings out areas that maybe they've never discussed before or thought about.
We have the communication tools to give and take and find, how you're going to work together.
Pastors in more than 220 communities have now signed community marriage policies, offering pre-marriage exams and mentoring couples. Mike McManus of Marriage Savers has championed these concepts for decades. Now he's pushing more ideas in how to cut America's divorce rate in half. The U.S. rate is triple that of France and Britain, and McManus thinks one big reason is because of the waiting periods for a divorce in those nations.
You have to wait 5 years in one country and 6 years in the other to get the divorce. You know what happens in 5 years? A lot of reconciliation.
Myers says research shows if those in a failing marriage would simply wait it out for 5 years, they'd likely see a big turnaround.
66% of those couples will report a stronger, happier, wholesome marriage if they will just do that much.
McManus would like states to legislate a 2-year waiting period and get rid of no-fault divorce for couples with minor children, unless there's abuse or adultery.
What is called no-fault divorce means unilateral divorce.
He wants states to replace it with mutual consent divorce so both spouses have a say.
Here are 2 reforms, either one of which in many states could cut the divorce rate in half.
It'd also save a huge amount of taxpayer dollars. Taxpayers cough up $112 billion a year to pay the huge costs of families fragmenting.
They're eligible for Medicaid and food stamps and earned income tax credit and subsidies for housing and daycare and all that. That's what costs so much.
Only 1% of married women are poor, but 24% of divorced women are.
It's a devastating thing. Divorces within our communities, families, and the lives of our children, personally to societally.
Which is why saving marriages could do so much for a society.
I really believe in what we're doing is making eternal benefits to couples down the road.
Marriage is really the best solution for all the problems we have in our society today.
Sullivan's only had a couple of divorces in his church since his fellow pastors banded together in 1996. And as for Myers' church,
I have roughly 100 weddings that I've performed since then. I've had no divorces.
If we have a culture promoting marriage and our churches begin to capture the vision that they can be marriage savers, I think we could drive down this divorce rate nationally in half.
So as folks are showing here in Kansas City, Kansas, we don't have to accept a 50% divorce rate, and marriage for almost everyone can truly be the lifelong institution it was always meant to be. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from Kansas City, Kansas.
Up next, the 88-year-old who could give the cast of Dancing with the Stars a run for their money.
CBNNews.com. News you want, when you want, 24/7. Stay current with up-to-the-minute stories.
Ephraim Graham, CBN News, New York.
I don't have to wait for my news anymore. CBNNews.com at your fingertips all day long.
I only watch the stories I want to see.
I find the story, I click on it, and boom, I'm there.
Embassy in Washington, Eric Stackelbeck, CBN News.
The source for your news, CBNNews.com.
Ow, my feet hurt. My feet hurt, your feet hurt. White hot pain, I wanna cry. Is there anything I can try?
Why, yes! Introducing Strut Soul Angels, the human shock absorber that helps alleviate foot pain.
The first 10 steps in the morning to the bathroom were excruciating. Within 3 days after I put Struts on, it's been such a relief.
Slipped it on and almost immediately I felt a support, kind of like a pillow underneath my arches.
The Struts Soul Angel provides a great amount of relief and support throughout the course of the day, providing shock absorption and relief of pain.
On your feet without proper support can be painful. Strut Soul Angels promotes better balance, control, and body alignment. Standing in your heels all day is painful, but slip on Struts and you'll enjoy comfort and support 24/7. Struts is so versatile, you'll wear them in every shoe you own, even barefoot.
I'm on my feet all the time. I teach 11 and 12-year-olds. The pain was so much that I knew I had to do something. And with the Struts, I can do my job and enjoy my job.
I usually am on my feet from 8 to 12 hours a day. When I wear my Struts, it's like giving my feet a hug all day.
It's life-changing. I wear them from the minute I get up to the minute I go to bed.
Why pay $400 for custom orthotics?
Now get Strut Soul Angels for just $10. You also get Miracle Foot Repair Cream, absolutely free. Use it to help relieve dry, calloused feet overnight. But wait, call right now and we'll double the offer free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Plus, you get a 100% money-back guarantee. If not completely delighted, send it back. But keep the foot cream as our gift just for trying. You get it all. A $70 value for just $10.
Oh, yes! Love my Struts, love my Struts. The best thing since sliced bread. They heal pain from toes to head. Get yours now, your doctor said.
Struts, be nice to your feet. Call now.
Call 1-800-787-1580 and get your Struts and Miracle Foot Repair for just $10 and we'll double the offer. That's 1-800-787-1580 or visit getstruts.com.
A New York woman is finally living out her dream decades later. Miriam Winokur has always had a love for dance. It started as a young girl after watching stars like Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire on the silver screen. Now, many years later, the 88-year-old has decided to take up competitive dancing.
I saw my first movie with Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, and I was hooked. Your body is your vehicle, and like any vehicle, if you don't use it, the battery dies and it rusts. I don't think of myself as being unique.
Miriam has always seemed to be a late bloomer. She failed out of high school but went back later when she was 40, and after 30 years of study, she graduated with a doctorate in communications. Good for her. That's all the time we have for this edition of NewsWatch. Remember, you could email us your comments and questions at newswatch@cbn.com. See you tomorrow.